Hey guys, it's a sunny day in Barcelona. I came from the beach. I was swimming. It's a happy, happy day. I'm gonna teach you guys how to create content so you can be financially free, location free, do whatever you want, whenever you want. And it's quite simple. The most important thing in the world is your scripts, right? So after you do the dream avatar, which I taught you to do in the last video, and you reflect on your past 2 years and you understand that the progress that you have in the past 2 years is what you're selling, but broken down into steps so it's a lot quicker. You'll come to a script. And we're going to look at a script today that got 258,000 views on Instagram and about 60,000 views on TikTok. We're going to break it down, and you're going to understand it, and then we're going to make a different script, and you're going to see it live. So you're going to understand what I do. In my culture, I'm the definition of a fuck up. Basis. Okay, why did I say that? Here, I'm going to show a picture of Ethiopian culture. I'm the definition of a fuck up. It kind of already creates the theme. Like, I'm a fuck up. Like, and all of us have felt like fuck ups at some point. So one, it creates relatability, but two, it creates like, okay, this protagonist sort of like, you know what I mean? Like, you're different from everybody else. Because I grew up getting suspended every week. Let's take that out. For fighting. And I have dreads, which means I'm obviously a gangster. So in my culture, having dreads is a no-no. That means you're a street boy. Because I grew up getting suspended every week, and I actually did. So you want to tell something about yourself that you struggled with, that will help people to connect with you. And so this is really me. So just when I proved everyone wrong by getting a scholarship for university in Los Angeles, I dropped out and moved to Barcelona to be a content creator. This creates curiosity. And it's like, oh wow, this guy's inspirational. You know what I mean? See, my name is Adonis, and for the past 300 days, I've been documenting the Mbappe project in Barcelona. Here you want to introduce yourself, talk about what you're doing. So I was playing football, and I was pursuing going to La Liga, pursuing going to Madrid, training hard, eating healthy, and trying to enjoy my youth when I can. I've also been hopelessly trying to find a girlfriend, editing till my laptop crashes, and working out on no sleep. Here you want to also talk about your struggles. Life is duality. It's light and darkness. You don't want to only give your light because people understand that we all have struggles. And so with honesty, you connect. But after finally building an Instagram business to 36,000 followers, so like I accomplished something, and that also builds some sort of authority. 30 days ago, Instagram closed it. You just raised the stakes. So this is me starting again. And my last two videos already got me 2,000 followers in just a week. People are like, what? In just 1 week? So I'm starting to believe this comeback story might just be better than the come up. And so people here feel like, okay, maybe they're going through the trenches right now, but there's hope. But I only have 3 months to finish this new series because that's all I have in my bank account. And so now you've risked everything. There's hope. So people are also inspired. That's why all these like brain rot motivation videos go viral. I don't think it's brain rot. Sorry about that. But it's because it really taps into the person who believes that they can achieve something. Like it taps into your inner child, which really believes in itself. So I'm going to keep believing, even when everyone is telling me to go back to school. All of us get advice that we just think is shit. Because I'm not some fucked up sperm cell. And so this is like, sorry. And I'm not some fucked up sperm cell, and neither are you. So I'm kind of showing like how people make you feel when you're really like struggling. God always had a plan. But that was so different than what everybody saw. And they just labeled you a problem child. And even though I'm not really sure, I'm taking the risk. And I'm going to try to get to 10K followers before my cash ends. And this kind of like gives you a goal. And it tells you 3 months. So now you're like, okay, you're hooked. And I would love to travel the world as an influencer again. So you've already done it. But now you're like in a situation. So follow me right now. Because I'm spreading my faith in my future despite my circumstances. And that might just convince you to follow your dreams. You give them a reason for them to follow you. A reason that's not selfish. It's towards them. Or I could end up a bum. You end it with something like, okay, he might really fuck this up. So he's really taking a risk. In my culture, I'm the definition of a fuck up. All right, so what we start with is always the topic. Tema. Okay, a couple weeks ago, I went to Seattle, and my cousins, well, I wasn't in too good of a place mentally because me and my father just fought. And And we fought, and I'm going to be completely honest so you guys really understand who I am and who you're working with. We fought because, well, for years he was physically abusive. And so I told him about how that affected me years after, and like trouble sleeping and a bunch of stuff. And, well, he kind of like disowned me. I don't know. But then when I booked a flight to Seattle, and I'm like, okay, I have my cousins there. Let me just see them for 2 days. If I'm in the States, and I haven't been in the States at this point for like 4 years, I haven't seen my family. So I said, if I'm in the States, I might as well go see some people I love. And then as soon as I got there, I've never been treated with so much care. Like one of my cousins, she couldn't just stop hugging me, and the other one, he took me around. He paid for food. They didn't let me pay for anything, and well, I really felt at home. They called off work, like they stayed up all night. I really didn't feel this much love in so long, and this also gave me a perspective of my childhood that was like, there was duality in it. Like there was also something beautiful, and so I want to talk about that duality. So you also always want to start with like a basis. Love felt in the States, in Seattle. Yeah. And so you also don't want to make it as similar to the other one as possible. I grew up the bad kid. Your mom tells you not to hang out. Because I couldn't focus in school. So I spent exit strangers. Spent my childhood doing delinquent activities. And then here, you want the B-roll to be, you don't always have to put this, but this is just going to be a reminder. Me, head out of the car. Me drinking. And then the next line is, so obviously, strict friends. Of punishment. Physical punishment. Beating and screaming. And so this kind of incriminates my cousins. Like if I if I add this part, it incriminates my cousins. Yeah. Okay. Okay, yeah. Let's just allow the thoughts to flow. Father and that trauma. As an adult. And he disowned me. So I cut that. Seattle. Yeah, like you have to express yourself in a way that's. I guess it was so beautiful because it also was so hard. See, my name is Adonis, and then you introduce yourself. And I cousins in Seattle who came every single weekend. This was the highlight of my week. Are you guys seeing how this is flowing? Like this is a reality though. And I realized, man, I wasn't all bad. Like, and that made me good. Wow. It's also an opportunity to introspect. I, oh, this. I guess I listen to you. All right, you see the script? Then you read over it. I grew up the bad kid your mom tells you not to hang out with. Because, well, I couldn't focus in school, so I spent my childhood doing delinquent activities. So obviously, with strict parents, that was met with a lot of. So obviously, with strict Ethiopian parents, that was met with a lot of beating and screaming. And so finally, at the age of 20, I got the courage to speak to my father about how that trauma gave me difficulties. And finally, at the age of 20, I got the courage to speak to my father about how the trauma, how that screaming. So obviously, with strict Ethiopian parents, that was met with a lot of beating and screaming. So finally, at the age of 20, I got the courage to speak to my father about how that trauma gave me difficulty sleeping as an adult. And he disowned me. So I cut contact and flew to Seattle. See, my name is Adonis. Well, I had cousins in Seattle who came to my house every single weekend. And this was the highlight. As kids. Who came to my house every single weekend as kids. I would go to school and brag about how we were going to go buy water guns and have water fights. So the excitement in my body was kind of overwhelming. I hadn't seen my favorite people in the world in 7 years. And I guess something negative just made me flip that switch. And I could not possibly, and I couldn't have possibly been greeted with more love. My cousins brought Mexican food, drinks, and gave me a talking to every time I paid for anything. And I realized my childhood was not all negative. And I wasn't all bad. I had a lot of love for these people. And that made me good. Then my cousin did something I would have never expected. She called off work and showed me wings over Washington, took me to brunch, and we stayed up all night watching a movie. Then finally, after all this, she dropped me off at the airport at fucking 5 a.m. with no sleep and waited till I got on the plane to leave the airport. This kind of hospitality makes you show the world more love. And I guess the lesson here is that who you choose to spend time with completely creates your emotional well-being. So follow me right now, because on top of taking risks, I'm building a community of loving individuals who want to inspire the world to smile. But my rage might take me over. So stay tuned. I definitely have to read this over with them. But this is the reality of, you know what I mean? And you really have to dig into that, like, because that's the only way people connect. Here, here. You always want to be talking more about thoughts that people haven't verbalized than actions and events. Because most of us are internal beings, or all of us are internal beings. I grew up the bad kid your mom tells you not to hang out with. Because, well, I couldn't focus on school. So I spent my childhood doing delinquent activities. Ah, me speaking about my father is really incriminating. And he's been acting crazy. Um, so finally, yeah. See, my name is Adonis. And well, I had cousins. All right, different topic. So funny. I grew up the bad kid your mom tells you not to hang out with. Because, well, I couldn't focus in school. So I spent my childhood doing delinquent activities. So finally, at the age of 20, I once again unleashed my inner demon child and dropped out of university to pursue content creation. And this week, we're going to Seattle. See, my name is Adonis. And well, I had cousins in Seattle who came to my house every single weekend as kids. I would go to school and brag about how we were going to buy water guns and have water fights. So the excitement in my body was kind of overwhelming. I hadn't seen my favorite people in the world in 7 years, and I guess something negative just made me flip that switch. Then my cousin did something I would have never expected. She called off work and showed me wings over Washington, took me out to brunch, and we stayed up all night watching a movie. And I realized my childhood was not all negative, and I wasn't all bad. I had a lot of love for these people, and that made me good. Then finally, after all this, she dropped me off at the airport at 5 fucking a.m. with no sleep and waited till I got on the plane to leave. Well, this kind of hospitality makes you show more love to the world. And I guess the lesson here is that who you choose to spend time with completely creates your emotional well-being. So follow me right now, because on top of taking risks, I'm building a community of loving individuals who want to inspire the world to smile. But my rage might take me over. So stay tuned. Tell me that's not a fucking fire script. And it took me 23 minutes to write that script. You feel me? And the first 10 minutes I was kind of explaining the other concept to you guys. But even here, I would because this is also kind of so follow me right now because I guess I'm choosing all the good to look as an angel. And might change your perspective on yourself. Oh, wow. So follow me right now, because I guess I'm choosing to perceive myself as an angel instead of a demon, and using my inner rebel to build. So follow me right now, because I guess I'm choosing to perceive myself as an angel instead of a demon by using my inner rebel to build a life I actually enjoy. And that might change your perspective on yourself. But that might change your own self-image. But my rage might take me over. So stay tuned. So follow me right now, because I guess I'm choosing to perceive myself as an angel instead of a demon by using my inner rebel to build a life I actually enjoy. And that might change your own self-image. But my rage might take me over. So stay tuned. Come on. Come on. We did it before the battery ended. We did it before the battery ended. But just perceive that. Wow. Okay, and then next video, I'm going to break down everything you want to touch.